Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning. All right. So, I want to talk about something kind of different this morning. Shortages. No, yes, I'm going to talk about shortages, but not in the way you think. Okay. It's no secret to anybody that the economy sucks, regardless of what Washington tries to tell us. It's no surprise that prices on everything are through the freaking roof. Okay. I mean, I'll just give you a stupid example. You know, 7 years ago when Mrs. P and I bought my truck, which was 7 years old at the time, we paid $17,000 for it. Now, if I want to go buy basically the exact same truck that's 7 years old, it'll cost me 30 grand. So, yeah, the price of trucks has doubled in 7 years. Okay. If you do the math on that, that would be about 10% inflation on used cars annually, okay, roughly. We know about food. I told you last week about going to the store and they had no tilapia. But the overblowing of shortages is in the media, on YouTube, on Twitter, whatever it is. If you were coming here from, I don't know, Uganda, and the first exposure you got to anything about what's going on in the American economy was watching YouTube or opening up Twitter, you would think that every store we had was completely empty and there were no goods to buy. Okay? That's bullshit. Yes, there are shortages in places. Okay? I couldn't find tilapia at one store the other day. Guess what? I went to a different store and I found it. Not a big deal. Okay. I'll give you a perfect example. My 4x4, my side-by-side, okay, that I use for hauling stuff around the property and everything like that, wouldn't start. I've gone in there, I've looked at it, I can't figure the damn thing out. It was beyond my mechanical knowledge. So I called around to see who I could take it to. And I wound up calling, get this, 7 different places to get it fixed. 2 were out of business. Okay. I don't know why. One was I take it back. 2 were so busy that they couldn't, they told me they didn't have space to get it in. They couldn't get to it. 2 told me they don't repair those because it's too difficult to get parts. And one place I took it in. They told me, yeah, bring it in. I took it in, and they had it fixed in 48 hours. I'll go pick it up today. Okay? The deal with shortages and all these videos and tweets and news stories and whatever that you see is fear sells. Period. Okay? And you guys know one of the reasons I started my channel in the first place 3 years ago was I was sick of 2 things. All the fear porn and all the shills for whatever product. Okay? I wanted to talk about the truth, and I figured you guys owed that. And personally, I figured I earned it too. I'd like to hear the truth. Are certain places out of stuff? Yes. Do other places have it? Yes. Has it been a little more difficult to buy certain things? Yes. Has there been anything that you have not been able to get that you couldn't live without since COVID ended? Probably not. Maybe. There might be something. I know auto parts, for example, are a little harder to find. I've told you that story. I talked to my mechanic here earlier this week, and he was telling me stories about having difficult things. Yes, I've been on this vehicle repair thing. I had to put a new intake manifold on my truck. Okay. He had a hard time finding a new intake manifold for my 13-year-old truck, but he found one. He just had to make a few more phone calls. Okay. Didn't call a junkyard, didn't do anything, got one from Ford. Simple. Okay. Not everybody had them in stock, but he found one. It's the same with anything else. So when you hear all these stories, all this fear porn out there, oh my God, the grocery stores aren't going to have any food. No, maybe they won't have center cut pork chops, but they'll have pork loin, or they'll have boneless pork chops or something like that. Maybe they won't have, I don't know, chicken breasts, but they'll have whole chickens. It's not like we've run into a situation where you walk into Walmart, you walk into Aldi, you walk into Costco, you walk into whatever your local Jewel or Dominic's or Piggly Wiggly or Hannaford's or whatever, and they go, I'm sorry, we have no food. Yes. Remember the old phrase, improvise, adapt, and overcome? Yeah. Okay. That's not something that we should have to worry about doing. We've gotten soft. That's a good word for it. In the United States, at least. We figured whatever we wanted, we could run down to the corner store and it would be there. And I'm as guilty as anybody else going into a Walmart or Home Depot or whatever and go, what do you mean you're out of this? Okay. They don't have an infinite supply of everything. I need to go get 16 penny nails and they're out of 16 penny nails. Who knows if 20 minutes before I got there, some guy's going, you know what? I'm building a new deck on my house and I need a couple of boxes of 16 penny nails. And there were 3 guys like that and they bought all the 16 penny nails. It's possible, okay? I've told you many times about going to the store, and some of you have got pissed at me and some of you agree with it. I go into the store and I'm backstocking my prepper pantry or whatever it is, and there's 2 cases of green beans on the shelves, all of a whopping 24 cans. And I'm just using green beans as an example. And I buy them both. And some of you have agreed with me, and some of you said, I'd leave something on the shelf for somebody else. Okay, and so the person right behind me 2 seconds later says, I want green beans too, and if I buy one case, they buy the other. It doesn't matter how, they're gone. And my answer always has been, if you wanted green beans, you should have got out of bed and got into the store before 10 o'clock. Okay, simple as that. I was there first, I can get it, period. Maybe that's all it is. All these places that are telling us over and over, the world is coming to an end. There's going to be no more groceries in the grocery store. There's going to be no more spark plugs in the auto parts store. There's going to be no more nails in the hardware store. That may eventually happen, guys, but it ain't today. Okay? The guy with the sign, the end of the world is nigh. There's going to be a day he's right. It just ain't today. Okay? Fear sells. This is why the news media, MSNBC, Fox, CNN, ABC, whatever it is, they'll show you all the stories about the devastation from a tornado, and it'll be headline news for 3 days. How long have we been listening to this whole story about this submarine? Okay? Yeah, it sucks. 5 people died. Really sucks. And that's a horrible, horrible death. Okay? But the world is glued to that because fear, panic, disaster sells, and they know it. Very rarely do you see a story, and maybe they'll plug it in as some human interest thing, 2 puppies were rescued today from, the Humane Society, whatever. Joe and Mary Smith did such a great thing by keeping these puppies from being euthanized. When's the last time you've seen a story like that? Good news doesn't sell, okay? So they don't put it. The news media, Twitter, YouTube is no different. It's up to us to stop and think. And I talk to many content creators. Well, let's not say many. I probably talked to about a dozen, right, that I have any sort of relationships with. then we email back and forth or ask questions to each other, discuss what's going on. And the overwhelming thing I hear from other creators is, boy, I put up this video and I thought it would be really important for people to learn that or to know that, and nobody watched it. And then you put up something about, oh my God, this building burned down or something like that, and it's like that's what goes absolutely silly, and people want to watch it. I don't get it. What I'm saying here, guys, is all of us need to focus on the solutions. We need to know about the problems, but knowing about the problem doesn't do diddly squat if you don't do anything about the solution. Okay? If you're so worried about nobody individual, I'm talking about people in general. If people in general are so worried about, oh my God, there's going to be no food at the grocery stores. Have you learned to grow food? Have you learned to hunt food? Have you learned to go fishing? Have you learned to clean a rabbit? Whatever it is. I laugh because, just give you ideas. I did the video on cleaning a rabbit, 13,000 views. I did the video on how to string a fishing pole, 13,000 views. Solutions, right? I did the video on Social Security stealing money from us, 42,000 views. Okay? More than twice as many people wanted to hear about the problem than a solution. Combined. Okay? I mean, this is just my point is, yes, you need to know about the problems. It's why I do the politics videos, the economics videos. You need to know what's going on in the world so you can prepare for it. But when you know what's going on in the world, and that's as far as you go, that's freaking useless. Concentrate on the solutions. Don't worry so much about the reason for the problem. Just worry about what the solution to it is. And as for all the fear porn and the hypesters and buy this or you're gonna die crap, that's what that little X is for in the upper right-hand corner. Because those people are doing a disservice to the community. And those people are just shills on YouTube to make money. They're not here to help you. They're just here to sell shit. And I have no use for people like that.